Hey guys, I'm Rob and welcome back for one more video. Are you planning to do the Zêzere Grand Route or the GR33? I just finished the trail and I'm here to share my experience and hopefully give you some tips to improve your experience on trail. Zêzere Grand Route, or mostly common known as GRZ, follows one of the biggest Portuguese rivers. It rises in the heart of the Serra da Estrela, in the highest points of Portugal mainland, and its tributary to Tagus River in Constância. The Grand Route distance is 370 kilometers and is divided by 9 sections. I personally started the trail in the other side of Serra da Estrela, in Seia, just because I really wanted to feel this massive mountain range and to see what does it really need to take to make the Zêzere River. So I arrived in Seia, started hiking to Loriga and had a great swim in this wonderful beach. The next day I did a PR5 SEI, or Rota da Garganta de Loriga. When I was getting almost to the top, close to Salgadeiras, I'll turn right towards the tower. Here is the highest point of Portugal mainland. And then I started to go down on PR6 MTG until Covão da Metade, where GRZ starts. The real Zêzere Spring is about 1 hour up the valley, on PR5 MTG, and then you turn left. It's here guys, this is where Zêzere Spring begins. The official GRZ starts in Covão da Metade. This is just in case if you really want to see the true Zêzere Spring. The most interesting part about this trail is that you can do it by hiking, biking or canoeing. Even though if you are coming mostly for hiking, there are some companies that rent bikes and canoes. I haven't done it myself because I really wanted to focus on hiking, but there are some decent sections that I want to go back and do it with a canoe. And actually GRZ is much easier to do it by canoeing because, for instance, the section just you and the river by hiking is 22.9 kilometers and by canoeing is around 12 kilometers. So instead of hiking a whole day, you just do it with a canoe like in a couple of hours or something. If you just check the numbers, you can notice the Zêzere River is 214 kilometers long and the GRZ is 370. So there is a big gap. Although you cannot do it entire route on a canoe because you have dams and obstacles, but I believe it's a good idea to mix both activities and take most of this wonderful trail. The best time that I would recommend to hike GRZ is right now, because of a simple reason. All this young generation left or are still living these towns, and the population rates are becoming extremely low. I hiked through so many ghost towns that I lost count, and unfortunately more are on the rise if young generation are not coming back to this region. At the same time, I felt myself so lucky to meet these wonderful people full of knowledge, experiences and stories to share. If I could choose a time to hike GRZ, it would be probably around 50 or 100 years ago, without a doubt. I just fall in love with all these stories. I hiked the whole route by myself, just simply because I enjoy to hike solo, but I don't really recommend it unless you have some experience. And if you come solo, come with a right and strong mindset. And I'm just saying this because I struggled myself a couple of times. This is not just a normal trail where you see a lot of people, there is a very limited support, and I didn't see a single hiker throughout the trail of almost 400 kilometers. The only support that you can have is from these locals that live in these very small villages. That's all.
Mas aqui não sei lá.
Obrigado. In regards of weather, I'm not really sure what should I recommend to you, because I've seen all types of weather. I mean, Before I started the trail, I was waiting for a storm to finish in Serra da Estrela, and it was in June, and it was a snow forecast and very strong winds. And then as soon as the storm finished, I started the trail, and within a week the temperatures start to rise. And it was heat wave after heat wave, with temperatures around 30, 35 and almost 40 degrees. I was forced myself to stop and wait until the summer finish. Not just because of the heat waves, but also because of the extreme risk of wildfires. Some of these sections, you are in the middle of the mountains, you look to the left, you have 10 kilometers without nothing and another 10 without anything. So this is really risky to be in the middle of these hills with the fire. Most of the times you are in a valley or surrounded by trees and bushes, and you cannot see the fires. You can have a fire like 500 meters from you and you cannot still see it. And the risk is not just the fire itself, it's also the heat and the smoke. And the direction of winds can change anytime. I even asked some locals and shepherds any recommendation that in case if you see a wildfire. And despite of many different opinions, the most common one was run. Run as fast as you can, and if you are lucky, you make it. So I don't recommend you to take unnecessary risks, and someone else that is trying to rescue as well, just stop and come back later on when you have a more pleasant time on trail. And when I restart the trail at the end of summer, the reverse happens. In the beginning it was still a bit warm, but then within a week, a lot of storms, rain and thunderstorms came. So I'm not really sure what I should recommend to you. I'll probably say spring and autumn. Just avoid summer. If you avoid summer, you are safe, I would say. Regarding food, I have a serious advice to you. In most towns you can get mini markets and restaurants quite easily. However, there is a part of the trail that is very limited, especially from Pedrógão Pequeno to Fontes. And this is quite a large section, so just prepare yourself for this one. There was a part that I didn't see a restaurant or a mini market for like 4 or 5 days. There was absolutely nothing apart from a few houses. So I'll just leave here on the screen what the places that I got my supplies from. Please always check as you go. Some places can permanently close and some of them just opens for summer. And always have at least 1 or 2 days of food just in case of an emergency. This really helps me to be more relieved on trail and enjoy it a bit more. In some towns I found a mobile mini market or a mini mobile bakery, but you have to be really lucky to find this in the right moment. In case if you run out of food, please don't freak out, because the trail is about 10-15 minutes away from any middle-sized town. In case of emergency, you can always hitchhike or just call a taxi. In regards of accommodation, there are a few guest houses along the way, but I strongly suggest you to organize that before you go on trail. Simply because there are places that there are absolutely nothing. And for that reason, I prefer to take my tent and sleep as I go throughout the trail. And probably you are thinking that wild camping is not legal, and you are right. But I only found 3 camping sites throughout the whole trail. However, every time that I sleep outside of a camping site, I ask permission to the local people or to the local authorities. And for my surprise, they always recommended me were the best spots to sleep overnight. It was like old football fields or near to the river or gardens or whatever. Other times I stayed in those intermodal stations. I'm not sure if GRZ Association will be very happy to hear this, but the truth is they are quite comfortable. Some people offer me their own land to set up camp, and one lady even offered me an entire house to sleep overnight. She literally gave me her own home keys. That was something that I would never expect. My rule number one about wild camping is that I shouldn't be disturbing anyone. If I feel that I'm disturbing just a little bit, I pack my bag and I go somewhere else. And the second rule to make sure that I really don't disturb anyone is that I only set up tent after sunset, and once it's sunrise I already have my backpack already ready to go on trail. On the other hand, some of these villages only has like 10 or 20 inhabitants, and if you are hiking through their village, they will feel that a stranger is coming to them. And the only thing that makes you not to be a stranger anymore is by introducing yourself. Speak with them and explain what you are doing. They will feel much relief from you, and I can promise that you will meet the most genuine and incredible people that you will ever meet. Most of my favorite moments on GRZ came from these people that I met randomly on the way. And as always guys, please leave no trace. Every time you go outdoors on hiking, camping or whatever you do, always follow the leave no trace principles. This is extremely important to keep our nature pristine and local communities. For the orientation tools, I just took a couple of maps, like the official one from, it's already damaged, but this is the official one from GRZ, the whole route, and also the section ones from GRZ as well. So for the map, I just went to the Aldeias do Xisto official website, went to experiences and clicked to the GRZ section. On the right, you click in introduction to GRZ, come all the way down, and here are the details of each section, its maps and GPS files. But I didn't use these, just continue down, and here is the files that I use on trail. I used the GRZ map and printed in A3 size, also the etapas or sections. And for the last, I downloaded the GPS app on my phone. This map can be used offline once you download all the maps and upload all the files, so it was really helpful and it didn't fail me once, so I'll just continue to use it. And I felt that it was more than enough. Despite the trail is really well marked, there are some sections that are damaged due to wildfires, and that's where the GPS comes in handy. And on trail, every 5 to 10 kilometers you'll find information board about the coming trail with all the necessary information. As I started the trail in the other side of Serra da Estrela, I also used the adventure maps from Serra da Estrela just because of its wilderness and to be more comfortable, but I believe this is optional. Regarding transport, I don't believe there is a direct transport to the start of the GRZ in Covão da Metade. Probably I would recommend you to take a bus or train to Covilhã or take the bus to Seia, and then you can hike or just take a taxi. In Constância, at the end of GRZ or the start if you go upriver, there is a train station called Praia do Ribatejo, and it's like 2 kilometers from town. And there are also regional buses that goes around to the biggest towns nearby, like Entroncamento, Tomar or Abrantes. And from there you can go just take the bus wherever you like. The gear that I use on GRZ, it was the same one that I show you in one of the previous videos, except the socks and the shoes. It was extremely hot, and I wanted to make sure that I have a good ventilation system in my footwear. But anyway, soon I'll give you a full update about my gear. The least favorite things or the hardest parts that I felt on trail, it was probably some of the sections full of monocultures and seeing nature getting a bit damaged from the human activity. But I believe this is a lesson that we have to take from, and even to appreciate more the pristine places we can find. And about the favorite places, that's going to be a bit hard because there are so many good memories along this trail. The fruits. The fruits are definitely one of my favorite parts. As I hike through spring and also at the end of summer, I found so many wild fruits, wild berries, apples and figs. Figs are the best thing about this trail. I would probably eat between 10 to 20 kilos of figs. I mean, it was figs for breakfast, figs for lunch and figs for dinner. It was unbelievable. And if it wasn't these figs, I'm pretty sure that I would run out of food much quicker. So for that I'm really appreciated. But overall the best part is the journey itself, full of unexpected and wonderful moments. That's definitely my favorite part about GRZ. And if you are planning to come to GRZ, come with an open mind and for everything that's going to happen on trail. That's it guys, these are my tips and experiences about GRZ. I hope they will help you out on trail. If you have any questions, please comment down below. I'll be more than happy to answer them. If you feel these tips useful, please leave a like button and consider to subscribe to the channel if you like to watch more videos about this. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I'll see you soon and enjoy your trails.